Hey everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. You know, Jane, sometimes when we think about the very first pages of the Bible, like Genesis, we tend to see them as just, well, ancient history or foundational myths. But what if they're actually more like profound mirror stories about us, right here, right now?
Absolutely, Nash. I love that idea of them being mirrors, because honestly, when you really dig into them, they're not just about Adam and Eve, or Cain and Abel, or even Noah. They're about pride, about fear, about jealousy, ambition, and this underlying human desire to build things that, let's be real, are probably never going to reach heaven.
Exactly. It's this universal human condition laid bare. Take the Garden of Eden, for instance. It's often presented as this literal historical event, the fall. But peel back the layers and it's a stunning narrative about innocence, choice, and what happens when we push against perceived boundaries.
And the temptation, right? You will be like God, knowing good and evil. That's not just a serpent whispering, it's that internal voice many of us hear, that craving for ultimate knowledge, ultimate control, to bypass limitations. How often do we, in our own lives, reach for something we know we shouldn't, convinced it'll make us more?
And the immediate aftermath, hiding. The shame, the fear of being exposed. That's incredibly relatable. When we mess up, when we've done something we regret, our first instinct is often to hide, to cover up, to deflect blame. Adam blaming Eve, Eve blaming the serpent. It's the human playbook.
Oh, absolutely. It's the original, it wasn't me, it was them. And it's not just about a forbidden fruit. It's about recognizing our limits, understanding consequences, and taking responsibility. Or, more often, trying desperately not to. It's so fundamental to the human experience.
Then almost immediately after, you get Cain and Abel. This isn't some distant, abstract theological concept. This is sibling rivalry escalating to tragedy. It's jealousy, resentment, and the refusal to master one's own negative emotions.
I mean, who hasn't felt that pang of jealousy when someone else's achievement or recognition outshines yours? Or that simmering resentment when you feel unfairly treated? The story of Cain isn't just about the first murder, it's about the very human struggle with comparison and anger. It's so visceral.
And the warning that God gives Cain, sin is crouching at your door, it desires to have you, but you must rule over it. That's not just a specific warning to Cain, it's a timeless insight into human psychology. We all have those darker impulses, those sins crouching, waiting for an opportunity. The challenge is to rule over them.
It's about self-mastery, isn't it? Which, let's be frank, is incredibly hard. It's easier to give in, to lash out, to feed the resentment. And what's the cost? In Cain's case, it was catastrophic. In our daily lives, it might not be murder, but it can be broken relationships, lost opportunities, or just a lot of internal misery.
It paints such a vivid picture of the destructive path of unchecked emotion. From the quiet envy to the violent act, it's a stark reminder of our capacity for both good and incredible evil. And it highlights how quickly human nature can spiral when we ignore those warnings.
Yeah, and then moving on, we get to the story of the Great Flood. Now this one's often debated, but regardless of its historicity, the narrative itself is so compelling. The world becoming full of violence, human wickedness escalating to a point where a reset is deemed necessary. It's a grand-scale reflection of collective human behavior.
Absolutely. It's not just about divine judgment, it's about the natural consequences of a society that has, in a sense, lost its moral compass. When justice is corrupted, when violence becomes rampant, when human connection erodes, societies suffer. The flood, in this sense, is almost a metaphor for societal collapse triggered by human depravity.
And the idea of a fresh start after such destruction, Noah and his family emerging into a cleansed world. But even then, human nature doesn't fundamentally change. It's a reminder that simply wiping the slate clean externally doesn't automatically cleanse the internal human struggle.
Precisely. That's a crucial point. It's a cyclical story, really. A fresh beginning, but with the same inherent human tendencies, the same choices ahead. It asks us, as individuals and as societies, what kind of world are we building? Are we truly learning from past mistakes, or are we destined to repeat patterns of self-destruction?
And that leads us perfectly to the Tower of Babel. This, to me, is one of the most resonant mirror stories for today's world. Come, let us build ourselves a city and a tower with its top in the heavens, and let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be dispersed over the face of the whole earth.
Oh my goodness, Nash, that's just pure, unadulterated human pride and insecurity, isn't it? Let us make a name for ourselves, the quest for fame, for legacy, for significance beyond our mortal coil. And lest we be dispersed, the fear of insignificance, the desire for control and unity but for entirely selfish reasons.
It's so potent. Think about all the towers we're building today. We're not literally stacking bricks to the sky, but we are building digital empires, chasing viral fame, accumulating wealth and power, often with that same underlying motivation: to make a name for ourselves, to achieve immortality, to avoid being scattered or forgotten.
Exactly. The tech giants creating platforms that connect billions but also centralize power and information. The celebrities chasing endless adoration. The financial markets driven by insatiable growth. All of these, in a way, are modern Babels, attempting to reach a heaven of control, influence, or status.
And what happens? Just like in the story, confusion, division, misunderstanding. We're more connected than ever, but somehow, we're also more fragmented, more prone to speaking past each other, caught in our own echo chambers. The languages aren't just verbal, they're ideological, cultural, digital.
That's a profound parallel, Jane. The story of Babel isn't about God being arbitrary. It's about the inherent futility and destructive nature of unity born of arrogance and fear. When humanity unites for a purpose that seeks to usurp rather than cooperate, it inevitably leads to breakdown and misunderstanding.
It's almost like a natural law, isn't it? When we build towers out of pride, out of a need to prove ourselves or dominate, they inevitably crumble or lead to our own dispersal, because they lack a foundation of genuine connection, humility, or shared positive purpose.
So looking at these first few stories, Eden, Cain, the flood, Babel, they really do form this incredible tapestry of the human condition. They speak to our fundamental struggles with choice, responsibility, jealousy, anger, our collective capacity for corruption, and our relentless, sometimes misguided ambition.
They show us that these aren't just ancient problems, they are our problems. That desire to be like God, to escape our limits, to make a name for ourselves, to control our destiny against all odds, that's deeply wired into us. And the consequences, good or bad, still play out in our lives every single day.
And I think the beauty of seeing them as mirror stories is that it makes them incredibly relevant, incredibly personal. It's not about judging people who lived thousands of years ago, it's about looking at ourselves in the reflection. Where are we giving in to fear? Where is our pride leading us astray? What towers are we building that might be destined not to reach heaven but to cause more division?
It's a call to self-awareness, isn't it? To understand our own motivations, our own impulses, to recognize that while we strive for greatness, for innovation, for connection, we also need humility. We need to respect limits, both external and internal, and foster genuine understanding rather than imposing our will.
Exactly. These ancient narratives, far from being dusty relics, are powerful insights into the very core of what it means to be human. They challenge us to reflect on our own choices, our own fears, and our own ambitions, and to consider the kind of towers we're truly building, both within ourselves and in the world.
So next time you encounter these stories, don't just read them. See yourself in them. See humanity in them. Because in those first pages, you might just find a deeper understanding of why we are the way we are, and perhaps a path to building something truly meaningful. Thanks for joining us today.
That's a perfect thought to end on, Jane. We hope this conversation sparked some reflection for all of you out there. Until next time, take care and keep looking for those mirror stories in your own life.